Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my video. And this video is going to be about the upcoming UFC card, and I'm also going to give you guys some predictions, how I see it. So let's first start off with Jamie Varner and James Kraus. Jamie Varner in this fight is a guy who comes in with a ton of experience, fought against a lot of notable fighters, coming off an excellent performance in his last fight even though he lost. Very exciting fight, and he also possesses a lot of power. James Kraus is a guy who is an excellent stand-up fighter, very technical. I love the way he throws his kicks. Also uses his reach as well. Very interesting guy to watch, and I was very impressed by one of his most recent performances against Sam Stout. And I'm actually going to go with James Kraus in this fight. He's the underdog. A lot of people will be picking Jamie Varner. But I feel that this fight will be predominantly stand-up, and I think that James Kraus is more technical than Varner. As long as he doesn't get caught, I believe he will win a decision. And I'm very impressed with James Kraus overall as a fighter. I really enjoy watching this guy, and if you haven't checked him out, very exciting stand-up fighter. I know everybody likes the knockouts and Chris stand-up, so this is a guy to really check out. And I'm going to go with James Kraus by decision in this fight. The next fight I want to speak to you guys about is Takeya Mizugaki versus Francisco Rivera. Takeya Mizugaki, here's a guy who is a Japanese fighter, good striker, good cardio as well, and a tough guy. Rivera is a fighter who is very aggressive and has a lot of power, and I feel that if the fight will end in stoppage, Rivera will be the one stopping Mizugaki. But I personally feel that Takeya Mizugaki will weather the storm and be able to go the distance in this fight, and I feel that he is more technical of the two, and also he has a better gas tank as well. So I feel that he will win a decision in this fight, but Rivera is a guy that can take you out with one punch, so he's got to be very careful of that, but I think he will win this fight, and I'm going with Takeya Mizugaki by decision. The next fight, to me, is really a 50-50 fight. We have a matchup between Jake Ellenberger, who is a guy who didn't look very impressive in his last fight against Rory McDonald, but he has good wrestling and great power as well. And we saw last fight Robbie Lawler. He looked very good against Johnny Hendricks, a champion. He used his excellent striking. He had good striking defense. He had good takedown defense early on in the fight. And really, I mean, his cardio looked pretty good as well, considering how good of a fight that was and how much both of these guys are throwing at each other. I thought that his cardio was pretty good in my opinion. So this fight, really, who do I think is going to win? Well, I personally am going to lean towards Robbie Lawler. I feel that Robbie Lawler has a lot of momentum after his excellent performance, and that Jake Ellenberger possesses some similar things to Johnny Hendricks. Johnny Hendricks has power, but I think that Jake Ellenberger has power, but I think Johnny Hendricks' power is better than Jake Ellenberger's. And wrestling as well, but I just feel that ultimately that Robbie Lawler is prepared for a guy like this, and I think he's going to win by a late stoppage, actually. I'm going to go with the third round stoppage, and I feel that Robbie Lawler should get a lot of credit for taking this fight on short notice, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. But Jake Ellenberger is a guy you definitely don't want to count out. You've seen him take out Jake Shields early on in his fight, and a very explosive guy. Trains in Mark Munoz and company, so he's going to have a great game plan for this fight. It's going to be very interesting to see. Next matchup I'm going to speak to you guys about is a fight between Dan Henderson and Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier, Olympic wrestler, striking has improved under AKA, got a ton of confidence, and was on a tear in Strikeforce and did quite well in the heavyweight division, but now he's at 205. And he took out the guy who works at Starbucks. I'm sorry, I don't remember that guy's name. I think it's Pat Cummings. And Dan Henderson is a guy, MMA legend, an excellent right hand, can still take anybody out in the sport with that punch. A guy who has a ton of power and an excellent chin. And really had an impressive comeback against Shogun in his last fight. I personally feel, though, Dan Henderson should retire. I don't think he has the same gas tank he once did, really. And I just feel it's his time to retire. I don't think this is the best Dan Henderson we're seeing in the cage in recent performances. I definitely see him slowing down a lot. Still an excellent fighter. outstanding MMA legend. But I got Daniel Cormier in this fight. I think Daniel Cormier wins by decision because Dan Henderson is just so damn tough. But Cormier, I think, has the edge in technical striking in this fight, the cardio edge as well. And I think that's going to make a big difference. Maybe he'll mix in some wrestling as well against Dan Henderson. We're going to have to wait and see. But he'll have an excellent game plan. AKA is one of the best gyms in the country. And he'll be well prepared. And he knows what's in stake for this fight. He wants a shot at John Jones. So he's going to be very well prepared and a very determined guy. So I got Daniel Cormier winning the decision. And we're going to have to wait and see how Dan Henderson looks. I mean, you can't count him out completely, though, because Dan Henderson with that right hand, he gets you with that, your night could be over pretty quick. And the main event now is going to be against TJ Dillashaw and Henderson. TJ Dillashaw is a guy who's on the Ultimate Fighter. He can wrestle. He can also strike as well. He's a very good fighter. But I personally feel that Henderson is on a complete another level. This guy is just outstanding. His last two opponents he has stopped. He works with Nova Uno. Jose Aldo's there. It's an excellent team in Brazil. And this guy really is such a complete fighter. Top 5, top 10 in the sport, in my opinion, pound for pound. And he's just been dominating on a tear. He has that big long-term fight win streak. And I personally feel that Henderson will stop him in the 3rd round in this fight. Continue his streak, and this guy is really outstanding and someone to watch, and he's not going to be beaten for a long time, in my opinion. So just to recap, guys, this card, I have James Kraus by decision. I have Takeya Mizugaki by decision. I also have Robbie Lawler winning by a 3rd round stoppage. I have Daniel Cormier winning by decision, and I have Henderson winning by a 3rd round stoppage. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And let me know what you guys got in these fights. This is an excellent card, and you really can't miss this if you're an MMA fan. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it once again. Thank you.